Hello, my most amazing artists. This month we are looking at the artwork of Charley Harper. Charley Harper was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he was actually mostly interested in drawing animals. He grew up on the farm and he always wanted to be an artist. We are going to be taking a closer look at a fox. You can see here, Charley Harper loves to make his foxes with simplified shapes and lines. To get started, you are going to need some paper. You may use your art journal, a pencil, and something to color with, crayons or colored pencils or markers, whatever you can find. Our first step is to draw a curved line somewhere closer to the top of your paper. Not quite the middle, but a little bit closer to the top. After you have that curved line, you want to make another curved line on top, which kind of looks like maybe a lemon or an eyeball shape. Next, you want to make two vertical lines going across, leaving a little space in the middle. Because what you're going to do with that little space in the middle is you are going to make the letter U. So you're going to make the letter U and connect one and connect two. Connect those two edges of the lines with a U shape. What you can do there in the middle is you could erase that little bit if it overlaps. Remember, if at any time I am going too fast, just pause the video and then get all caught up and then restart the video when you're ready to go. The next step is to make a circle shape right on the bottom portion, I guess, of the letter U, or you could put it in the middle, wherever you like. And then you're going to make two more circle shapes for the eyes. Remember, shape is an element of art, and circles are geometric shapes. Now you have two pointy ears, one on each side. And then inside the ears, you want to repeat that triangle shape right on the inside. Triangles are also geometric shapes. The next step is you want to add two lines above the eyes, two vertical lines, and then a diagonal line right in the middle there. You can see how I made the diagonal line, and then you have another line on top of your original one. The two lines are actually parallel, and then another diagonal line. Try your best with this part. It's a little tricky. You might have to pause and then see what I did and then start back up again. It's time for some whiskers. You want to make one diagonal line, one horizontal, and another diagonal. Head over to the other side and make another diagonal, a horizontal, and another diagonal. Inside the eyes, you want to make two tiny vertical lines. Vertical, diagonal, and horizontal are all directions that line can travel. Remember, line is another element of art. On either side of your fox's face, you want to put two diagonal lines, and then you want to connect them with the letter V. From there, you want to now work on the fox's front paws. So you want to make a dot line that goes up, and then comes back down diagonal, and then goes up again, and then comes back down diagonal. What you want to do with the corners of each of those lines is connect it with a curved line on each side. You might have to pause that part. It is a little tricky, but I know you can do it. Next, for the body of the fox, you want to come down and over and make a little connection between the 2 feet, and then come down again and go over. We're going to work on the tail. You can make this however you like. You want to curve up and connect right to the body. And then we're going to do a horizontal line that goes across. For the face, I decided to add a little bit more detail with some vertical lines. Charley Harper really loved adding these lines on his foxes, so I thought I would try it too. So all I'm doing is making vertical lines that go down on the top portion of my fox's face. Sometimes when I draw, I don't always quite love where I put a line. So that's why I always try to draw light until I've got it right. And then I can go back and make it darker later once I've committed to the line. You can see here, I didn't really like where those lines were lining up and I wanted to check the spacing a little bit. So I went back and I erased some of the lines and then I tried to fix them the way that I thought I wanted them to be. Remember, don't ever get stressed out about your drawing. You're always just going to try your best and trust in your ability to learn. When you draw, you don't have to just draw something once and then never draw it again. When you play a sport or you do gymnastics, do you just make one basket and never make another basket? Do you just do one dance and just try the dance once and never try it again? No, of course not. We try things over and over again. So when you drew the fox today with me, maybe next time you want to draw another fox later on and try it again. So we want to keep on trying our best when we're drawing and learning. Here you can see I am adding some ground for my fox. You want to just put a horizontal line kind of behind your fox so it's sitting wherever you would like your fox to sit. I have my fox sitting on some snow. So I also made some lines for some grass and I've decided to add a few snowflakes. So you can see I've just used some lines and some shapes to make my snowflakes. And if you would like to decide to do that too, you can. Or maybe your fox is going to be somewhere else. Did you know there are over 30 different species of foxes? Foxes are also very intelligent and they're known as the most cunning animal. They are very sly and can get what they want. I am going to outline my fox with a Sharpie. If you have a Sharpie or a black marker and you would like to do that too, you can, but you do not have to. You can actually see I've missed a line for the fox's mouth and I added it right there. It was a tiny little vertical line. When we were drawing, I forgot to tell you about it, so you might want to add that now as well. And like I said, if you have a marker and you want to outline it, you may, but you do not have to do that. I actually had thick and thin Sharpies, so I decided to use the thick marker for most of the lines for the fox, and then I had used a thin marker for the lines that are going vertical down the fox's face, as well as a few other lines for the whiskers and the grass, and then a little bit for the snowflakes as well. If you decide to outline, when you're done outlining, it's always a good idea to take your eraser and erase any of those extra pencil lines. Usually when I outline, I don't always get the pencil line 100%. I'm usually off by a little bit, so there's usually a lot of pencil lines left that need to be erased. When you're done erasing any lines, if you decided to do that, we're going to add color, baby, color. So you want to get whatever you have, you're going to add color. I decided to make a red fox, but maybe you're going to make an Arctic fox. I would love to see what that looks like. When I add color, I always like to overlap my colors. So you can see I decided first to choose a brown colored pencil, and I very carefully added color on the face first. I've actually sped up this video a little bit, but I promise you I am coloring very carefully, and I would like you to do the same. On top of the brown colored pencil, I've added the orange. Usually the red fox seems like it looks a little more orange to me, so I didn't actually use the color red. I decided to use brown and orange to get the desired effect that I was looking for. Again, then I'm using a black colored pencil and some gray for the eyes, and I'm coloring very carefully, trying to keep my lines all in the same direction. For the body, I have decided to do the same thing, layering brown colored pencil first, and then using my orange on top. you can see in the picture on the left that I colored first, there's a lot of value, and value is another element of art, meaning that there's a lot of dark areas and light areas. So you can see I'm kind of adding that now with having a little bit more dark areas in some spots, and then in some areas I'm not pressing so hard on my pencil. So in order to create value with your colored pencil, or if you're using a crayon, is that you press harder in some areas and then you press a little lightly in others to make some highlights. So kind of around the paws and a little bit on the back tail, I've decided to add a little bit more darker areas. And again, I went back into the fox's face and I did the same. Now I am going to color my background. Again, I am going to layer the colors. I decided to actually use colored pencil for my fox and crayons for the background. When you use two different materials, that's called using mixed media. So my project is not only colored pencils or only crayons. I decided to use crayons and colored pencils, which makes this mixed media. First, I am putting my pink color down first on the entire background, and then I decide to go back over it with some blues, and I think I do some purple as well in this video. When I'm actually doing these videos, I'm a little bit further away from my drawing than I like to be, just for the lighting. So I can't get in there as much or press as hard as I was able to do in the original drawing. So the background is not as dark as I'd like it to be. If you can and you want to press harder and make that background nice and bright and bold, like the one on the left, you're able to do that just by applying more pressure with your colored pencils or crayons, whatever you decide to use. Ta-da! All finished. I can't wait to see what you create.